Welcome to the demo of the retailer version of Chem-Man. When we say retailers, we also sometimes call them co-ops. It's basically anyone that contracts out your aerial application companies to do work. What we do is we set up the home store for the aerial application company, and then we set up individual retailer stores for the ag operation to see all the work coming in, so they can see all the work from all of the retailers. So it's very easy for a retailer to be able to set up a job, and then the aerial application can immediately see what's been scheduled. So the best thing about it is it's immediate, and you can communicate without having to bring a map to someone. It's automatic. So it's also a good way to communicate to each other when something is ready to be done or when something is complete. And you also have a really good log of everything. So Chem-Man gives you a lot of good reports. So it's great for your growers to have good customer service as well. So let me get started to kind of show you how it works for a retailer. So I'm going to go into the customer section and manage customers. Okay, these are our existing customers that we already have in the system. And if you have a spreadsheet of these customers, usually software programs, you can kind of export it to an Excel sheet if you have customers. So we can import those to make it easier for you. I'm going to go ahead and click Add. And I'm just going to say Tom Hanks Farms. All right, and just click Save. You can put more information if you'd like, but I'm just going to kind of make it small. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Setup Menu, Manage Field Locations, and we're going to add a few fields. So I'm going to click on Add Multiple. And there's multiple ways to add fields. You can go in and you can import them from Google Earth. If your grower has shape files, we can bring them in that way. So there's different ways that we can bring in the maps. There's also an option in the system. It's called Fsa Borders, which actually are borders valid until 2008, until the government made a Privacy Act and they quit bringing in the borders. But in some areas, you can bring that in. So in this area, you can. So if they are still valid, I'm just going to click on the borders, and it draws the field for me. But now I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm just going to draw a few fields myself. So I'm going to click on the polygon right here, and I'm going to go right here, go over here a little bit. And when you're building the fields, it will calculate the acres and the lat long for you. So I'm just going to build these 3 fields right here for demonstration purposes. And once they're in our system, they're in our system. You can always make them inactive later if you need to. But one of the requirements is that you have to have a name and a customer to save the field. So I'm going to put Tom Hanks 01 just for uniqueness. All right. And if you need to change the acres, I'm going to just round that up to 80. You can. And crop is not required. It will be saved once you save your first job, whatever crop it will, and it'll always be the latest job that you did. It'll overwrite this crop right here. Okay, and then I'm going to copy that crop, copy that strip, come over here, and put Tom Hanks Farms, and click copy there. All right, so come down here, and I'm just going to name it, which is a requirement. Oops, 2, and then Tom Hanks. Oh, can't type today. There we go. I got 3 fields. Now they're saved in our system. Now I'm going to filter our screen by the customer. And I'm going to change it from list view to, I could just say map only, but I'm going to do the list and the map. Click on both and search. So there we go. We got our map and we've got our list that we could actually print this if we wanted to and send that to our, either through email or just print it out for your grower. And he's always on the same page with the names and the acres that you have. So it's, never a question there. So now what we're going to do is go into scheduling, manage job scheduling. And these are all existing jobs. Now remember, your aerial application company can see these jobs. They're pending or approved or complete. They have different statuses. That's a good way to communicate with each other. So it really is determining what you decide the statuses mean. But one thing that I would suggest is change it. When you add a job, it puts it in as pending. But whenever it's ready to go, and it may be when you add the job that you put something like approved, and so then your aerial applicator can change that to something like in progress. And so you'll know that it's in progress. And when they finish it, they will have complete. So you'll be able to print out any information that you want on that job, including applied log data if you do want that. All right, so what I'm going to do is add a brand new job and schedule it, and click select locations. And I'm going to put Tom Hanks Farms and search. I'm just going to go ahead, I could click on the map itself, or I could come over here and just say all. You can just choose however you want to choose them. I want to do all 3 of the locations. And you have the ability to, if you needed to do a partial job right here, I could just go to edit here and say, I'm actually only want to do a corner of this field right here. So you could either delete it and redraw it. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just delete it and redraw it. And I just need to do, oops. All right here. I'm only going to do that little part right there. And so then it'll update my acres right there. So sometimes you need to just do portions of it. Now this will not affect the original polygon. It's just a temporary job on this particular job, a temporary partial. If you needed to put a pest, you can put a pest in and click on copy to my other pest. It's an optional thing. And schedule date is an optional thing, but it might be something another way to communicate to your applicator that you are kind of estimating your job to be done on the schedule date. So now I'm going to put, I'll just put 2 gallon work. And these are previously set up into the system. I'll put some headline, and I'm going to make it 2.2 ounces. And, excuse me, induce, there we go. And then we're going to come down here and click on Save Job. It's pretty simple. And as I mentioned, the status defaults to pending, but if you're ready for them to go ahead and go ahead and do the work, we're going to change that to, I'm going to say approved. All right. And then your aerial application company can see that. So if you want to see all the jobs that have been completed, when they get done with the job, they're going to put all their information in, the weather information. We have a weather app even that they can use. Now I'm going to go in here and I just want to see all the ones that are complete. So we're going to filter our screen by the complete one so you can see that they have completed these 2 jobs. And if you want, if they upload their log information, applied log data, you can actually go in there and see the log data. And sometimes growers like to have a shapefile of that log data that they can enter into their system. So it's really nice. All right, so let me go ahead and say I want to see all the jobs here. Okay, now one thing I wanted to mention is we have a chemical charge screen here where it has basically a place that you can set up 2 gallon work, 5 gallon work, that we call those the application charges, but then you can also set up your own chemicals. So when you get the system, it will be empty, but you can browse your EPA database here. And I'll just put Roundup here. Okay, there's different kinds of Roundups. I could have put Roundup if I had narrowed it down. Say Roundup Power Max right here. I'll just add this particular one right here, and then it turns it into an edit, and you'll see that it's been added to your system here. It has the EPA number and the manufacturer. And if you wanted to put a default unit of measure, you can. If you normally always sprayed it at a certain amount. So there we go. And that's an EPA database. All right, there's multiple reports that you can do as well. So I'm going to go to the logbook by customer right here. And you can choose an individual customer or you can put a date range. I'll just go ahead and show you what the report looks like. It gives you each customer and it has all the information on each job that you did. So this is a great customer service program that kind of gives them a lot of information about each job. You can do it by individual customer, date range, however you need to do it. We also have a great audit report. So if you needed to come back later and say, what all did I do under headline in a certain date range, you might want to suppress your charges. This report is used a lot of different ways, but it gives you all the detailed information on all of the jobs that you had, depending on that filter. All right, and then one last thing that I wanted to mention was if you ever need to go back, your data is always there. If you need to go back and look at that information on that job, you can. You can come down here and see the maps that were associated with the job. You can come and see the weather information, all the chemicals on that job. And if your grower needs a history of that, he can get that. Thank you for looking at our webinar for the retailer webinar. And we have excellent support. Quite a few retailers on board already. We'd love to have more. So just give us a call, 870-238-9222, if you have any questions. Thank you.